Has anybody seen The Irishman yet? I went this weekend and it was awesome in every way. Having a social life when you have a chronic illness or several is very hard because there's fatigue, there's pain, there's inaccessibility, a strict bedtime schedule. A lot of times if you're young, like I'll come on time because I have to go to bed on time and wake up at the same time. You know, having bipolar disorder, that's important. And then other people my age are used to coming very late. But this weekend, it was really good because my cousin went with me and her husband, and they were super understanding. So I have a disability, I carry a cane, and the movie theater near our house that showed this movie, it was inaccessible. It explicitly said, oh, we have two theaters. Theater 1 is accessible and has an elevator. Theater 2 is inaccessible, and that's where we're showing The Irishman. Are you kidding me? This is the most anticipated movie of the year, and you're telling about 20% of the population, hey, you can't watch this movie. We don't have an elevator. Everybody in wheelchairs and people with wheelchairs exist. I guess you're not invited, right? So we had to go to a movie theater that was much further away from where I live, and God bless my cousin and her husband. They were super cool about the whole thing. You know, my cousin Gemma has survived cancer herself twice at a young age, so she understands what it's like when you have dietary limitations, when the world just doesn't care. I would use another word for that, but okay, whatever. It's been 29 years since the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed into law, but you wouldn't know it if you went to certain places. So we had to go to an out-of-the-way movie theater and eat there, and that was a long ride back too. Thankfully, the movie was awesome, and I couldn't have done this. This is a rare victory. Hopefully there will be more for chronic illness and social life without my cousin and her husband being super cool and understanding. You know, that we had to drive out of the way because of this inaccessibility. And inaccessibility takes a toll on everything. An inaccessible house for a disabled person is dangerous. I almost had a bunch of plates fall on my head the other day. There was glass everywhere, but I got out of the way in time. And, you know, like I had to judge a debate tournament at a school that was built in 1882. So while the other coaches and teachers had 30 minutes to eat lunch, I had 7 minutes to eat lunch. So this was a rare victory. The Irishman was awesome. I loved Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa. I've always been fascinated by Jimmy Hoffa. You know, I thought he made it. It was more than how did Jimmy Hoffa die. It was about his life. Pesci was awesome. De Niro was great, and it's Scorsese. But what was a bonus was that while we were at the theater, nobody was coughing or sneezing, and it was packed. So I didn't have to wear my scarf, which is a pretty scarf that has a medical filter in it, and it's really great for people who are immunocompromised. But for a 3.5-hour movie, you know, it's better to watch without a mask than it is with a mask. And I would have done it if I had to, but I noticed nobody was coughing or sneezing. So anyway, I think if you know somebody who's chronically ill or has a disability, try to be cognizant of them. You try to be aware. Like my cousin Gemma asked me in advance, what kind of dietary restrictions do you have? And I said, oh, I follow the Plant Paradox diet. You know, so basically I can't have any of the fun food at the movie theater. That stuff is off limits now, sadly. And so she found a place near the movie theater that we could all eat at, and it was great. And be cognizant of other people's time, not to bash my generation, but we have a tendency to start things late. So there have been times I've met people, I arrived on time, and then my peers come an hour or an hour and a half later, and by that time I have to leave. That's just how it is. And you know, I was invited to a party where all these people went to school together. It was a reunion of sorts. They were all 15 years older than I am. And I had a really good time last year because people just followed through. We started when we said we were going to start. People showed up. Just that alone is big. People showed up. We ended on time. They were like, hey, do you have any dietary restrictions? I was just going to eat before the event and not bring it up. And you know, the host said, I assume you have some restrictions. You can tell the chef what your restrictions are, and you should be able to join us for every course in the meal. So it's a rare victory. To try to keep in mind, if you have friends with illnesses, what are the accommodations they need? Are you inviting someone to a restaurant that has no elevator when you know your friend has a disability? If you go somewhere and you find that it's not accessible, are you reporting it? Are you calling these people out on it and say, hey, your restaurant is not accessible? And just be cognizant of other people's limitations. And so I'm really glad that we were able to go. My cousin knows I like mafia movies. I enjoy this movie so much. I think it's a masterpiece, along with Casino and Goodfellas. As per usual, what I do with these movies, I close my eyes during all of the violent scenes, but my cousin's husband didn't, so whatever I missed, I was able to get from him. Like, so-and-so died. I'm like, yeah, there was a hit on, I don't want to spoil anything, but I was like, so there was a hit on this person, right? And this person, okay. So we were kind of able to piece it together. But anyway, this is a rare win. I think it's good that I've gotten some more energy from physical therapy, because this means I can go out more, which was a big deal. Energy is something you have to conserve if you have chronic fatigue, and you have to be very careful with it. And a lot of us pay the price when we do go out and we do a social thing. And so it's really important of able-bodied or neurotypical people to be cognizant of other people's time. I mean, even if somebody doesn't have an illness, it's a good quality to be cognizant of other people's time. But anyway, I had fun. Did you see The Irishman? So what did you think about it? Are you excited? It's going to be on Netflix soon. And do you ever have limitations from chronic illnesses or disabilities in a society that is inaccessible? If you found this video informative, hit the like button, share it, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, Discord. I don't even know what that is, but apparently somebody shared my video on Discord. Anyway, it was nice chatting. Thanks, bye.